Morning friends, happy Thursday, how the heck you doing? And this isn't unusual for GB News in that it's a really confusing headline. Let's jump into it. Prince Harry and Meghan planning new meetings with King in UK as Sussexes seek joint public appearance. I don't believe Harry and Meghan are seeking anything. I believe this family that treated them so badly, Harry was forced to write a book about it as part of his therapy. I believe they are maintaining the minimum dialogue and the minimum communication possible. They don't want to be around this family. They found peace and happiness and sunshine and children and a garden in California. I think this is deliberate PR from Buckingham Palace and Kensington Palace to distract from something, probably about Andrew that's coming shortly, and distract from the fact that the royals, we won't see them till October. They are literally off for months at a time. They disappear from public view, take the money but do zero work. Not that they do much work anyway. And this is designed to make it look as though Harry and Meghan are begging for reconciliation, when in fact, we all know they're not.
I really hope that Prince Harry doesn't keep falling for the offered room at Buckingham Palace story anymore. As we know, the most recent time that Charles offered a room at Buckingham Palace and Harry accepted, Charles pulled it away at the very last minute. So he's offering Buckingham Palace again. And all I can say is, Harry, you should not be staying anywhere near these royal properties. Keep staying at Althorp, which is where your Uncle Spencer is. Like, it's ridiculous to keep trusting Charles after everything.
Prince Harry said out of his own mouth he never wanted to be a royal.
But for me, after my mum died just before my 13th birthday, I don't want this job. I don't want this role. Wherever this is headed, I don't like it. It killed my mum, and I was very much against it. And I stuck my head in the sand for years, fingers in the ears, blah, 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 don't want it.
He said after losing Princess Diana, he looked at the system and said no. He saw what it did to her. He didn't want that life. He checked out for years because he already knew what the job was. So stop rewriting history. Harry was not dragged out. He already didn't want it. He later decided to use his platform differently. That's the shift. That's why he built things like the Invictus Games. Real work with real purpose and impact. Not just a photo op and ribbon cutting. He said service helped him. Being around that community reset him. That's where he gets his energy from. Now, let's address the part people keep ignoring. Look at Prince William and Catherine, Princess of Wales. They're now taking breaks. They work less than King Charles and Princess Anne. And don't give me Kate is recovering from cancer bullshit. Charles is too, and he's older. Maybe, just maybe, royalty isn't the flex royalists make it out to be. It is not a fairy tale. Harry said it. His actions back it up. So blaming Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, makes no sense. Some of you just need someone to blame because your little brain with the low IQ thinks in obtuse linear ways, devoid of critical thinking. He told you he didn't want it. He showed you he didn't want it. He built a life away from it. That's the reality. Get over it. And that's the read. If you like your tea hot, save a seat and follow for more. This is the Notorious JTB, Notoriously Opinionated, signing out.
Happy Thursday, squaddies. Hope you are all doing well, and thanks for tuning in. Look, here we go again. Every single time the British tabloid press needs to sell papers, or the royal family needs to distract everybody from actual real-world disasters, they pull out the exact same play. Target Harry and Meghan. Honestly, it's getting predictable, and regular people are exhausted. Let's be real about what's actually happening here. The tabloid playbook. Headline screams, Harry and Meghan want a reunion, or Sussexes demanding joint appearance. It gets clicks, gets people arguing in the comment section, and sells ad space. The real distraction. Meanwhile, Prince Andrew is sitting right there in a massive 30-room mansion wrapped in some of the most serious legal and moral scandals imaginable, and everyone at the palace is trying to sweep it under the rug. The meat shield strategy. Whenever the pressure gets too hot on the institution, the media magically rolls out another Sussex drama story to draw all the lightning. Regular folks are out here dealing with rent prices, energy bills, and actual life problems. Nobody at the supermarket checkout is losing sleep over whether Harry gets a specific seat at a church service. Harry and Meghan moved across the Atlantic, built their own life, and minded their business. Yet the moment the palace needs a smoke bomb to cover up real accountability, boom, Harry and Meghan are back on the front page as the ultimate distraction tool. It's cheap, it's transparent, and it's time people stopped falling for the magic trick. Look where they don't want you pointing the camera. That's where the actual story is. Harry and Meghan have been out of the royal working system for years now. Years. They have built their own life, their own work, their own projects, and their own lane. But open certain British newspapers, and it's like somebody forgot to update the software. Will Harry come back? Will Meghan return? Is this a reunion? Could they appear with the king? Oh, for goodness sake! Harry and Meghan have moved on, but the British media is still sitting in the palace car park waiting for them to come back. And let's be real here, after everything Harry and Meghan went through with the palace, why should every headline about them automatically be turned into some fantasy about returning to royal life? They left, they built a new life, they created their own platform, and they have every right to keep moving forward without being dragged back into an institution that treated them so badly. Yet the moment their names appear anywhere near the royal family, suddenly it's, are Harry and Meghan coming back? Coming back to what exactly? Imagine walking away from a workplace after years of drama, building your own career somewhere else, and then your old co-workers spend years obsessing over whether you're coming back to the office. Do you think he's returning? Mate, he's got his own office now. That's what makes these headlines so strange. Harry and Meghan don't need the palace to give them a storyline. They have created their own. They have their own work, their own projects, their own public platform, and their own lives. So why does the British media keep trying to pull them backwards? Harry and Meghan have moved forward, but the media still needs them trapped inside the old royal story. And at some point you have to ask, who is actually struggling to move on here? Harry and Meghan, or the people who can't stop writing about them?
And this is where the whole Harry and Meghan need the palace to stay relevant argument falls apart. Because look around. Harry and Meghan left the royal working system, and somehow people are still talking about them every single day. If the palace was the magic ingredient, then surely the moment Harry and Meghan walked away, the public should have stopped caring. But did that happen? Nope. They kept working. They launched projects, they travelled, they appeared in Canada, Nigeria, Australia, and other parts of the world. And every time they show up, guess who suddenly has something to say? Yep, the British media. That's the funny part. You keep hearing that Harry and Meghan are irrelevant, but somehow their names are still good enough to fill headlines, generate clicks, and keep royal commentators employed. Make it make sense. Harry didn't disappear when he left the palace. He simply stopped letting the palace be the main character in his life. And that's what regular people understand. You don't have to stay connected to your old workplace to prove you're successful. Sometimes you leave, build something of your own, and that's it. Harry and Meghan have their own lane now. They don't need a balcony, they don't need a palace diary, they don't need somebody in London deciding when they're allowed to be interesting. They can create their own moments. And perhaps that's why the media keeps trying to connect everything back to the palace, because Harry and Meghan built a life where the palace isn't required for the story anymore. And that must be a very uncomfortable reality for people who spent years insisting the palace was the only reason anybody cared. Now this is where I start scratching my head, because the headline says Harry and Meghan are planning new meetings and supposedly seeking a joint public appearance. Okay, hold on a second. Who actually said that? Did Harry announce it? Did Meghan announce it? Did Archewell put out a statement? Did Buckingham Palace confirm it? Did a Sussex spokesperson say, yep, squaddies, here's the plan? No. Instead, we're hearing a commentator talking about what he believes Harry and Meghan might want. And somehow that gets turned into a headline, making it sound like there's a secret Sussex master plan being cooked up somewhere. Come on now. There's a massive difference between Harry and Meghan actually saying something and somebody else saying what they think Harry and Meghan are thinking. Those are two completely different things. And regular people know this. If your friend says, I think John might quit his job, you don't run into the office shouting, breaking news, John has resigned. That's gossip with a headline slapped on it. And this is exactly why people should read beyond the headline, because once you actually look at what's being said, you have to ask whether we're hearing confirmed information or simply somebody's opinion about what Harry and Meghan might do. And honestly, after years of Sussex speculation, you'd think the media would have learnt by now. If Harry and Meghan haven't said it, don't put words in their mouths and call it a plan. Let the Sussexes speak for themselves, because apparently, even when Harry and Meghan are doing nothing, somebody somewhere is still busy writing a whole storyline about what they're supposedly planning. At this point, Harry and Meghan don't even need to make an announcement. The media will make one for them.
And this brings me to the question I really want to ask.
Why does the palace story apparently need Harry and Meghan to make it interesting? Seriously, look at the cycle. Something happens around the royal family, then suddenly Harry and Meghan get mentioned. Then Harry and Meghan become part of the headline. Then royal commentators start debating Harry and Meghan. Then another article gets written about what the commentators said. And before you know it, Harry and Meghan have somehow become the biggest part of a story they didn't even create. Make it make sense. And here's the funniest part. We're constantly told Harry and Meghan are irrelevant. They're finished. Nobody cares. The public has moved on. Okay, then why can't you people stop talking about them? If Harry and Meghan are truly yesterday's news, leave them in yesterday's news. Talk about the palace, talk about the working royals, talk about their engagements, talk about their charities, talk about whatever is happening inside that supposedly very busy royal machine. But somehow, Harry and Meghan keep getting dragged into the conversation. And that's why I think this headline says more about the media than it does about Harry and Meghan. Because Harry and Meghan don't have to chase the royal story. The royal story keeps chasing them. They've built a life outside the palace. They have their own work, their own platform, their own audience, and their own identity. So let's stop pretending they're desperately trying to get back into the room. Maybe they're simply living their lives. Maybe the people who need to move on are the ones still writing about them every 5 minutes. Because let's be honest, squaddies, Harry and Meghan aren't desperately trying to get back into the royal story. The British media seems desperate to keep them in it. And that, right there, is the irony. Thank you all for watching, squaddies. Hope you enjoyed this podcast. I, your host, Miles, see you all in the next video. Goodbye, and God bless all squaddies.